Hey everybody, I'm Pat,
I'm Nikolai.
and we're going to be doing
We're unboxing a brown box for the black box today. Yeah.
brown box and the black box. Nice. Okay, so this is the Canon EOS C300 Mark II, and we just got it in. I think it's the first one in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Pretty slick.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Let's see what's in the box. First thing, usual manuals. Oh, there's a surprise.
For the little hipster in you, 20 bucks off at Starbucks.
Nice.
Pretty sweet.
But it's canon.ca, so that tells me it's Canada. I really hope you folks in the States and elsewhere get this, because we're going to go for coffee after. Maybe even shoot it. A couple of manuals, throw those away.
Yeah.
Never read them. And
Let's face it, if you buy this camera, you probably know how to use it without reading the manual.
well, that's actually the sign of a good camera, is that if you can open it up and have it work. So first thing we have is a battery.
They help.
You want to crack that open for me? Oh boy, we're going to have now. Is this the same old handle as the C300? Because I didn't really like it. Yeah, it looks a little sturdier.
Yeah. Looks
One
better
thing that
built.
we know is that the camera has been really strengthened, and they're using an exoskeleton that is really, really amazing. So the camera is actually heavier than it was before. Strap, if you're a strappy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that's good news, because one of the complaints about the C300, as we all know, and the 100 and the 500, is that the handle was a little flimsy.
Yeah.
And that the body was didn't have a really rigid form factor. Power cable.
Power cable.
Might need that. Okay, what else we got here? We're gonna take some more cardboard out, and no idea what that is.
Looks like.
Now we're getting into it. Power supply. Standard AC power supply. And another power cable. Wonder why they gave us two power cables.
Interesting.
I don't know. All right, what else?
Maybe I should bite my tongue before
stuff.
saying that we shouldn't read the manual, because there's a lot of stuff there that I'm relatively unfamiliar with. I'm more of like a DSLR kind of guy, so this is a big step for me.
Well, you're kind of a Canon DSLR moving to Sony now, right?
Yeah, that's the truth. I'm not alone. You Sony guys, you know what I'm talking about.
And your dream camera right now, you're telling me, is a Sony FS7.
FS7 it is, yeah.
Why is that?
I just like the frame rate. I've seen some stuff that Joe Simon did. I've seen some stuff that Philip Bloom has done with it, and there's that look I think Sony has right now. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Canon look too, but I think Sony's got something totally unique, and I'm quite a fan.
Sony FS7 is a great camera. I'm a lover of the Canon cinema look. Love the C300, love the C500. Owned several of those cameras, and they were fantastic. We're getting down into the bottom of the box now, by the way. So here's the monitor array audio input module. And lo and behold, our prayers are answered. No dedicated cabling. So what we have is these pop-in cables. And this is much more sturdier, much more pro. So this is actually fantastic. Two cables, one output for video, one output for audio here. And then we've got our XLR inputs as well. And there's a rumor, I don't know if it's true, I suspect it is, that when you're stripping the camera down and not using this monitor array, then you can just strip it right off, and there is an add-on that you can get to make the onboard audio input on the camera body into a balanced XLR dual input as well, which is great.
Sure helps,
So there's the monitor. I want to flip it up, and the other good news about this monitor is that it is a higher resolution, brighter, really, really lovely monitor. You can add a hood to it if you want. Most people, I'm hearing out there, that it's bright enough to use in daylight, so it's actually fantastic. And even on the monitor displays now, you can rim it with the information as opposed to having it on screen. So you got some options there. So why don't we clear off all this extra plastic and see what else we've got here.
Get a little can out of the way.
And dual charger this time. That's a nice
thing.
Yeah. Crazy, because we don't have to buy the extra charger now to have a backup battery. And speaking of the batteries, it's a new power system. So this is actually 14 volt, much more robust.
Yeah.
This is the BP 830, so there's a new power system, new pins. So the old BP 975s, 955s will not work on this camera. So straight to eBay for the old stuff, which is where mine is right
More
now.
money for batteries.
And the grand opening of the camera body is here.
Dun dun dun. Can we get like a Jaws theme song going or something?
So let's go back to the frame rate thing. The camera does not shoot 4K high frame rates. What are you going to do? So
Yeah.
the solution there is to use an external recorder. My understanding is that all the companies like AJA and Convergent Design and who else is out there
Atomos?
making Atomos are going to respond by having Canon work with them to develop that over time. They've got a new viewfinder, new EVF.
Yeah.
Looks like it's not removable. That's a bit different, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit bigger cup,
How
which
does
is
it feel?
nice.
How does it feel like the ergonomics? How does that
Well,
feel in your hand?
you know, the thing for me with this camera, what I've always loved about it is that it's palmable.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're going to go out and shoot, the thing I really love about it is that you can strip it down. You can use all kinds of EF glass. This is an EF mount.
Yeah.
It's you can get it with a PL if you
Okay.
want. This is PL upgradable or swappable, but only at a Canon repair facility.
Okay.
So I presume when you're off warranty, if you know how to do it, it's swappable. It looks like it's not that difficult to do.
Right.
Lots of new things like lit keys or lit buttons. That's a big difference. They've changed up the body. The body is definitely heftier.
Yeah.
Now, is that a positive or a negative?
I think the sturdier something feels, especially a camera,
Yeah.
almost the better. I mean, there's certain rigs that you might not be able to hook it up to, but I think
Yeah.
we can put this on the Ronin M, can't we?
I think the first thing we're going to want to do is try it on a Ronin M and maybe a couple of these lightweight sliders and see. What is the actual weight? I don't know what the spec is. I'm guessing 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds.
2.5. Yeah, you know, this actually feels like
Somewhere in there.
an A7R2 times 2.
I can see it's
Something
got
like that.
fan ports on the side, right
Yeah.
here. There's gills here. So right along the side, there's gills. And there's also an outlet here. So that's probably the inlet, that's probably the outlet. So this camera, I was doing some reading online, it apparently the fan is defeated when you're rolling.
Okay.
So it obviously takes more heat, it's taking more power, it's moving a lot more data. You've got your battery compartment here, which is removable. There's a little button there to remove it, kind of a slider. New media, CF fast cards, 2 slots. It also takes, yeah, it's going to be pricey.
Cost you a pretty penny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until things settle down, as with all new
Yeah.
new media. And then there's an SD slot as well, and the camera will actually record proxy files concurrently that are 100% congruent. So you can actually edit in your proxy and then bring in your 4K later. So that's great if you're doing work group stuff.
Talking about workflow on this thing, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's back when I was a little dreamer, I remember dreaming about red epics,
Yep.
and there's a certain look that red has that I find just can't
For
be
sure.
replicated. But
Absolutely.
ease of workflow in comparison to something like the Red Epic or the Red Scarlet or one of these bigger, badder cameras,
Mm-hmm.
when you really use this on the field for run and gun style stuff, I feel like it almost adds that ease of use dynamic, which I think is just super useful.
Well, I think that's true too. It's just getting back to the weight and all that and the ballistics. What I always loved about the EOS cameras, the C series cameras, is that you can lock down on the viewfinder and you can palm the camera. You've got it really solid, 3 points of contact into your chest, lock your elbows, and you are as steady as all get out.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice feature, and I use that modality a lot when I shoot.
Yeah.
As opposed to an FS7, which I don't find as good feeling in the hand.
Okay.
Now, so there's pluses and minuses to every single camera. And you're talking about kind of like the workflow utility. One other thing we should show you is there's a mic input here. So that's a standard 1/8 stereo jack. Is it 1/8?
Is it 1H? Is it
I'm not even sure. It's a mini jack.
mini jack?
And it's, so that's a stereo mini jack, which you can wire in and you can set to
little video
balanced as well. What else have we got? Handle. Zacuto's actually got the handle extender. They've got all kinds of stuff going on with the graticle.
Just one thing I like about the Sony FS7 in
Yeah.
comparison, it's that handle that it comes with. It's ergonomically sound. It just fits on your shoulder perfectly.
you like that, huh?
I really do.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, you go ahead and buy the Sony, and I'm going to use the C300
All right,
Mark
I'm
II.
out.
Get out.
Yeah.
But we're talking about workflow. Canon has done a good job of making sure that all standard platforms are going to take the format.
Yeah.
So we're Adobe Premiere Pro users, so we're using CC15 right now, and you know, there's really no problem. It's completely agnostic. It comes in. We did get some test files that were 422 C-Log.
Yeah.
They grade beautifully.
That'd be a dream to edit.
Which, you know, we were kind of wondering about that. And for purists, yeah, you're going to want to shoot RAW. And to shoot RAW, you need an external recorder. But if you're going to shoot C-Log 422, trust us, it's gradable. It's actually got lots and lots of data in the frame.
It's more than capable, yeah.
It's fantastic. So, you know, if you're shooting low budge feature, if you're shooting a doc, if you're shooting a TV series, these things really can't be beat. The workflow is fantastic and it moves along. So, I mean, I don't have anything really much else to say. We're happy to have it. We're going to go put it together, throw some glass on it and use it. Once again, I'm Pat.
I'm Nikolai.
And we're coming to you from the black box, opening the brown box. Bye now.